I'm Gabby.
I'm Jackie, and you're watching
Trial and Error.
Trial and Error. For everyone watching this, thank you so much for watching this. To ourselves in the next 20 years, you are 26, and you're 25.
Yeah.
And I am so excited for when you're watching this in the next 20 years.
Me too.
But for everyone watching this, this is our first episode of Trial and Error, and we're pretty excited.
Very excited, yeah.
A reason why we decided to start this is because we want to be able to look back at this, but also because every group message is always talking about how they want to start a podcast. So we're like, let's finally do it. We might as well. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more through this episode. But why we wanted to name it Trial and Error. First, we were thinking of names for a podcast, and it just we kind of
stumbled upon it.
Yeah, we were like, you know what? It's going to be Trial and Error, and we're like, that's a great name. Let's just call it Trial and Error.
And I guess, the kind of another, the route we got there is me and my best friend Jackie. How we, when we're on road trips or when we're together in a car,
we are yapping along.
We
are yapping
the whole time, and we always miss exits.
We do
every time.
But our motto is when in doubt,
reroute. And so we were saying that.
Yeah, and I was like, that's kind of like our motto in life. Like we say it so much. This is how much we just miss our exit or something, or we're just yapping that we go the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And Maps reroutes us. That we actually started using that motto in just life.
Just everyday life.
When in doubt, reroute.
Something goes wrong, we literally look at each other and we just say it out loud. And it's just kind of brought us to the conversation of how life is really just trial and error.
And especially our 20s. So I'm 26, Gabby's 25. And so we're in our mid-20s, and what we realize is so far your 20s is trial and error.
Oh, yeah.
It is rerouting. Our lives are constantly changing. When we think we are going one direction, our life takes us a whole different way, and we end up going a different direction. That's definitely something we've learned in our 20s a lot. But in the best way, because honestly, I love my life.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful, so thankful for my life. I absolutely love my life. And when I thought things were supposed to go a different direction, they might have gone a whole other direction. But when in doubt, reroute.
And the rerouting usually ends up being better than the original route.
Yeah. And honestly, if we're talking just road trips, it gives us another opportunity just to keep yip-yapping.
Yeah, to keep going.
I think sometimes we're so quick to want to get to something at a certain time, which is the same way when you're driving. But with that, it might be the route to take you to where you want to go might be a little bit more fun. And that, I would say, is something that we've learned.
Yeah.
But with our podcast, we kind of just wanted to talk about our 20s and talk about, things that we have to deal with in our 20s and how it is really just trial and error. And who knows, maybe we'll feel like this in our late 20s and our early 30s and maybe the rest of our life. Who knows? But I can speak right now in our 20s, it's definitely just trial and error. It is just a lot of rerouting. But I think the more that you learn to love it, or the more that you just take it as is, you do start to love it, which is a great thing. Hence our podcast, Trial and Error. But why we wanted to start a podcast is really just because, in our group message, we would always be talking about how we wanted to do it. But also, just stepping out of our comfort zone.
Yeah. The biggest thing kind of ties into trial and error, and the overall theme of this podcast is we always talk about, especially this year, we've took big steps to step out of our comfort zone, and it was been more prevalent this year that we've done it, and it's been the most growth we've had in our lives. And the biggest thing we want to tell
so far, who knows what could happen in the next 5 years.
Only get better from here.
Yes.
But the way we got here was stepping out of our comfort zone, and we want other people. We talk about it so much all the time. Like when we're together with family, with friends, we always talk about it, and we want like kind of to spread that to other people, because I just think it's the best way to grow. It's the best way to reach your potential. It's the best thing you could do in your life.
I think in your 20s also, there's so much source of social, like, there's so much pressure, at least in our generation of 20s, because social media is a huge thing. I mean, I'm sure it's going to continue to grow as the years goes on, so I'm sure it's going to be even, like, more crazy for our nieces. Like, I'm sure it's just going to become a bigger and bigger thing, but we did realize, your 20s is stepping out of your comfort zone. So I think, like, going into this podcast and making it, we realized, like, we're just going to do it. We're going to step out of our comfort zone and do it. We talk about it all the time. We might as well. We've also learned that stepping out of our comfort zone has become such a beautiful thing.
Such a beautiful thing.
One thing that my dad has always said, also, I grew up hearing this, but to be comfortable, you have to be okay being uncomfortable, because then you'll eventually get comfortable with something. And I think that goes with this podcast. It's definitely going to be trial and error. But I think the great part of us stepping out of our comfort zone for this and being a little uncomfortable doing is that eventually we'll be comfortable doing it. And I have to say, even now, I'm like, I don't feel uncomfortable. And maybe it's because I'm doing it with you. And maybe it's because we're best friends, and like that just makes it so much easier. There might be that aspect that makes me feel very comfortable. But I can say so far I don't feel uncomfortable. But I'm sure that will come with this podcast.
Because just the stepping out of your comfort zone, it's mainly been for us recently. It's been like social media, like posting pictures that you used to think before you would post it, you would think about 80 million other people's opinions in your head, people that don't even really matter to your life, but it's what goes through your head. It's kind of like a natural instinct. And it's been even videos, like I used to never make like a video of like a hair transformation, or like a video of like even a dance video, and I'm a dancer, and I used to not do those things. But more recently I've been doing them, and I've just been posting them and not really thinking about what people think. And honestly, like I said, it's grown my confidence so much more.
And I think that's such a beautiful thing. I think we've started to realize that social media isn't for anyone else. It's for ourselves, and we shouldn't have to sit there. And I know a lot of people do this. I know, I'm sure, because we used to do this a lot, but I'm sure you want to nitpick your own post. And find everything that might be wrong with it because you don't want someone else to judge you that way. But we are our biggest critics. We definitely are. But something we've really grown, I would say, this past year is being comfortable with posting. I think this past year, both you and I have realized, like, we want to record everything in our lives. Not literally everything, but we want to record more. We want to be able to look back in 20 years and be like, wow, I did this. This made me happy. But also, I even enjoy going back and looking at videos that I posted, or not even posted, but recorded like 3 days ago. If I did post them, I posted them. I feel like for the most part, I do end up posting all my videos in some kind of way, whether it's my story or like a reel or something, or TikTok. But I do feel like I end up posting everything at some point. But with that, I think this past year, both you and I have grown a lot in the aspect that we realize, like, we aren't posting necessarily for anyone else besides ourselves and the people we love. And if it turns into 5 people watching it, if it turns into 50 people watching it, either way, we're doing this for ourselves, and we are grateful for everyone watching it, of course. But we realize that the people that are going to cheer us on are going to cheer us on.
And I will say, like, looking back at those videos, the reason why we post them, it's for mainly like yourself, because when I look back and I see little videos of me and Jackie just doing something small, like at Walmart, or like me and my mom and my stepdad out doing something, or me and my family, every time I watch it, I notice I'm smiling, and it brings me joy to see that. It's like when you're a kid and you used to turn on like the VHS tapes of your home videos when you were like with your whole family, and you all would be cracking up and smiling. It's the same premise. It's just
social media has grown so much. And what we didn't have when we were growing up, I don't know, like 20 years ago, we have such a big aspect that we do share our lives with so many, with thousands, hundreds of people on a regular basis. But I think we can say that because we feel like we have the most genuine intentions when we watch other people on social media, we can only hope for the same thing.
Exactly.
I think, like I said earlier, we are our biggest critics, and I can definitely say that I will look through people's stories, or you'll watch YouTube videos, and we're never like, oh, this girl, like, her hair wasn't done right, or her makeup wasn't done right. We definitely look at it in more of an aspect, like, we enjoy watching this. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, this brings me joy. So we can only expect the same thing from other people for our videos. But that, I'm so glad that we finally realized that, and it did take, I will say for myself, it took me turning 25, 26 to start realizing that, because if I were to go back on time, 21-year-old Jackie would spend 3 days thinking of a caption for a post. 21-year-old Jackie would be like, I can't post this because my hat was crooked, or my ponytail was crooked. And now I'm like, no, I want to post this because the people that truly love me are going to be cheering me on. And of course those are the people that matter, the people that are going to be your biggest fans, your friends, your family. And you might as well collect new ones while you're there too, because I know I'm sitting over here watching people I don't know their posts, and I'm like, good for you. Like, I'm so happy for you that you're doing that. I have people on my social media who I've never met in person, but they'll post something and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so happy for you. Or like recently, because was engagement season, I'll look through and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad this person got engaged. And I'm like, I met this person maybe one time at like a dance camp, or I've never actually met this person. I just started following him because my friend followed him, and I'm still like, I'm so happy for you. So I can only expect the same.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the biggest thing is when I watch a video, kind of along the same lines, is when I watch a video, she knows, I tend to watch a lot of vlogs.
She does.
I love watching a vlog. I don't know what it is about a vlog. I throw it on in the background. My mom is now watching them with me. They'll come home and my stepdad's like, so what vlog are we going to watch tonight?
I love
like,
that.
We throw on a vlog and it's, I think they're laughing about what I just said. But for me, it's like when I see another girl being productive, I'm like, oh, look at her being productive. And then I start like writing in my journal because I'm like, you know what? She's being productive. Or like I'll see a girl traveling across the world and I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me plan my next travel trip that I've always wanted to do. Because I'm like, she's doing it. Why can't I do it? And I tend to get motivated from other people.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool. I never once have watched a video and thought in my head, oh, her hair looks ugly. Look at that zit in the top left corner of her face. Like, I don't notice any of that stuff. That's just what we think because that's what we notice.
We are definitely our biggest critics.
Biggest critics. Because I remember even college me, I remember I used to go to the dorm cafeteria and I would put on makeup at like 5 a.m. to go to the dorm cafeteria. I'm like, why am I? And like looking back now, I will go everywhere without makeup. Like, we don't wear makeup that much really anymore. And I'm like, why did I like care so much? But like, because no one really noticed that. Like, if you look back in college, were you looking at other girls and like, why aren't they wearing makeup at 5 a.m? You weren't thinking that. And I think that's like it's like when you think back,
no, I
like,
can totally relate. Like,
yeah,
you know, everyone signs up for that 8 a.m. before they realize they do not want an 8 a.m. And I remember having my 8 a.m. and being like, oh yeah, I need to take a shower before I go to my 8 a.m. blow dry my hair. Like, I need to like pick out my outfit. And now looking back at it, I'm like, that valuable time of sleep, I was really
exactly.
No one in my like 8 a.m. college class cared what I looked like in the morning. I
mean, if you did it because you wanted to,
which is great. Like sometimes I will say it did motivate me to get up, and get my day going. It did make me feel more motivated.
Yes.
But now looking back at it, I think I would stress myself out, thinking of what people would think, and I didn't have to do that. Like, if it motivated me, that's great. If I needed that for the day, good thing that I did that, because I don't know what other way I was getting up for an 8 a.m.
Exactly.
But I don't think I had to put so much pressure on myself.
The point is, like, don't stress yourself out about it. Like, because there's days that I love getting ready, and every girl does. You play your music, you have your little drink, and you're getting ready, and it's like, it's a whole moment, and we all love to do it. But then there's also days when you're doing it because you want someone to notice, or and it's causing you stress. And then the whole time you're doing it, it's not fun anymore. It's not like the cute little girl time with music. You're just like, oh my gosh, did that look bad? Should I change? That's not fun anymore.
Mm-mm.
And it's the same thing with kind of social media is what we're saying is like, it's
tying it back is do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Don't think of the aspect of how people are going to see you. Do it for yourself. So if you like that picture, post that picture.
Exactly.
Don't take those 3 hours to try to figure out a caption. Just post it.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely something that I wish I could tell 18-year-old me or 21-year-old me is don't stress about what other people might think. I should have been doing it for myself because now that I am truly so much more happier. My confidence has gone up because I'm doing it for myself and no one else. And truly, I think you learn to start loving yourself when you start doing things for yourself because you should be doing things for yourself. Yeah. Life is for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part of it. And I think if I could go back and tell my younger self something is do it sooner instead of later. Because your confidence is going to boost up so much. I can definitely say for both of us, because I've been able to see it in you as well. When you start doing it for yourself, when you start posting it for yourself, when you start doing it for yourself, you start loving yourself more. And I think for both of us, our confidence grew so much more when we started seeing life like that. Instead of caring where we do a fit check, whether we do a fit check in Walmart or whether we do it in our bathroom, we grow to love ourselves because we can do it anywhere and we're doing it for ourselves. I just wish I could have told my younger self that.
Yeah. That's like the biggest thing is to tell younger selves because...
And it's going to be uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be... You have to be prepared to be uncomfortable. I mean, but that's life. Like, if you want to stay in the same place the rest... I mean, if you're comfortable. If you like where you're at, that's great. And, like, you don't have to necessarily be doing all these, like, groundbreaking things if you don't want to. It's about
But you're not going to be comfortable at something until you're uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. And that's, like, that's definitely one of the biggest things I have done this year personally. Like, as an example, I'm a dancer. I'm a nurse. And the biggest thing I've done is and I'm also a dancer on the side, is I've done that in both my career goals. So for nursing, I was comfortable in my hometown with a 4-to-1 ratio and the same people I've always known and the same patient base. And I was comfortable where I was at. And I was comfortable in my hometown teaching a dance class, but deep down, I didn't want to be here. And deep down, I wanted to be dancing and training and putting myself out there, even if it meant I failed. But I was scared of being uncomfortable. I was scared of being the worst one in the dance class. I was scared of going to a hospital and being uncomfortable with the fact that I'm not the best nurse there and I need help. I was scared of that. But the minute, like what your dad said and what my dad always told me, is you can either go be uncomfortable and grow, and maybe it happens and that's great. Maybe it doesn't, but it's okay. You have people who love and support you. Or you can stay where you're at and regret it the rest of your life.
Yeah. And the great part is we are in our 20s. So this is the time for us to be uncomfortable. If there's one thing this past year that I have absolutely loved, and I remember you reminding me this because I remember having a conversation with you about something. And I was like, I could either go to something that I already know, something that's comfortable, or I could go to something that makes me feel a little uncomfortable. And I will say I went the aspect of feeling a little uncomfortable, but I can say now that feeling uncomfortable has made me be comfortable with it, and it's absolutely... I am so grateful for the decision that I made and so blessed for it. I'm honestly, being grateful is an understatement. I'm glad that I went the route of being a little bit uncomfortable because now I'm so comfortable and now I'm so happy with that decision. But if I truly wish that we would have had that aspect sooner because even like taking you dancing, for example, I remember that you would call me when you were heading to your first couple dance classes, and before I knew it, I would look at your location, you were already in LA taking a dance class. And with that, I saw your confidence grow so much. I think that's so beautiful. I'm truly so grateful for having the opportunities to see my best friend become so confident because you deserve that. I just wish we would have realized we deserved that when we were younger, when we were in college, instead of realizing that in our mid-20s. Granted, I'm still so thankful and so grateful that we realize that now. And we became a lot more confident. But I know that our younger selves did deserve that. So I guess if we can share one thing in this episode today, is put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do, and always do it for yourself, because as soon as you start doing it for yourself, the people that are your biggest fans, the people that are going to be cheering you on, are going to be there as well. Whether that's 5 people or whether that's 50 people or whether that's 500 people, they're going to be there, and you might as well grow your fan base with people that love you, for who you are.
A fan base doesn't need to be 5 million, doesn't need to be 20K. It's just the people that make you feel loved and supported.
Yes.
And as long as you are happy doing what you're doing and you're having a good time, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the rest, whether that's a small little beauty channel that gets, like we said, 5 views. We know because we don't have 20K views. So we're saying this from people that also only have about 10 views. So you could actually listen to us. It's not people that are like, have 5 million people and they say it to you and you're like, okay, but you got 5 million views. So like, how can we say, like, we actually only have about 10 views, which is like our family and friends. But we are sitting here saying we've come so far, and we are just so happy.
Yeah.
Compared to where we were at in our 20s when we were focusing on the wrong things.
We are in our 20s.
Oh,
but
well,
I mean, like, early
20s. We're 25.
College selves.
People that are 25 understand that you don't feel 21 when you're 25 anymore. You feel...
We still feel young.
You still feel young.
We're still young.
You don't feel like...
You're not 21 anymore.
You're not 21 anymore.
When you're done with... You're not in college anymore.
You're not in college. Things you start to do things differently. Go to different bars. Go to different dinner places. Go to bed a little earlier. Things change a little bit. Yeah. But it's just...
But in the best way.
In the best ways. Like, it's just... We're just saying, like, make yourself happier earlier if you can.
Yeah.
Don't
do
wait.
it for yourself. Do it for yourself and step out of your comfort zone for yourself, because the sooner you step out of your comfort zone with things that you want to do for yourselves, the sooner you're going to be comfortable with those things. Yeah. And your confidence will grow and you will shine brighter once you start becoming more comfortable with those things. You'll start becoming more confident. More confident is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, a lot of comfortable and confidence in what we're saying. A lot of C's. A lot of C's.
But moving forward, it's trial and error. It's definitely a trial and error for us. These episodes might be 30 minutes. They might be an hour. They might be every week. They might be bi-weekly. We are in our 20s. So we're out and about.
Yeah.
We're constantly traveling.
Oh, yeah.
We actually just got back from a trip on Sunday.
Yeah,
same day. We went to different places.
But
we're constantly very busy people, as you guys know. If you're in your 20s, life's lifing. Life is life, and life is rerouting you. You think you're going one direction, and before you know it, you turn the corner, you're hitting and you're going a different direction, have to take a different exit. So we're in our 20s. It might, like I said, it might be every week, it might be bi-weekly. We are very unsure. It might be 30 minutes, might be an hour. We just hope that we get onto a regular schedule eventually. We appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching, the ones that are watching. Jackie and Gabby in the next 20 years. Thank you for deciding to do this.
Thank you for being best friends.
Yes, thank you for being best friends. We appreciate that, and life has definitely been amazing. The fact that we've been doing this together. But we appreciate all of you guys, and thanks for watching.
And this is Trial and Error. Okay, let me end it.
But you didn't stop it.
Oh, shit.